Hi everybody, it is December 1st. It is 3 months since I've done a video update on my build here in the Dominican Republic. I got my keys at the beginning of September and I have not had an electrical connection to the front building since then. That happened yesterday. So I wanted to resolve the issue of the electrical before I did an update video. I not only to let you guys know what I was going through, but what the resolution was as well. So I mean, I don't want to go into everything that I ended up doing over the last 90 days because it was pretty arduous, and most of it was just visiting the electrical company and digging my heels in and just insisting that I get what I needed. So to make a very long story much shorter, and the lesson at the end of the day is, if something doesn't feel right, if you don't have all the answers, if you're confused about something, don't just say yes. Don't just accept the answer that you're being given. If you feel in your heart of hearts that something isn't right, or something else could be done, or it just doesn't make sense to you, just keep asking questions. And that's what I did. When I went to connect this front building, they wanted me to buy a transformer. I was looking at a cost to get this building connected of anywhere from $6,000 to $10,000 US. My budget to do this was $300 US for the deposits that I would needed for the new accounts. There was an electrical pole directly on the street out front of this building. I assumed they would just throw a meter on it and connect me, and off we went. And the electrical company came out, did their inspection, and said, no, you need to buy a transformer. And not just buy a transformer, but source it as well, because they didn't sell them. So for me, that made no sense. I mean, I knew if I was, a Dominican building, a 4-unit apartment building in a back barrio, that I would have had 4 meters on the telephone pole, my apartment's connected, and that would have been the end of it. There would have been no $6,000, $7,000, $8,000, $9,000 transformer involved. So for me, I couldn't understand why they were like, no, you have to buy a transformer for us to connect. And, that they gave me no other solution, and that was it. So I did not rush out to buy a transformer. In fact, I didn't even source one. I just knew that this wasn't going to be a possibility for me. So I dug my heels in. I kept visiting the office, kept talking to them, asking them for a different solution. They would kind of talk to the boss or the boss's boss. And, so at one point I finally convinced them, to send out the boss's boss. And he's like, yes, you need a transformer. So I'm like, this is crazy. So for me, it didn't make sense, because I knew that I didn't need that connection. There was transformers in the street. Like, why can't I connect through one of those? I had this question and they weren't giving me an answer that I was satisfied with. So I just had to find that answer. I contacted the developer that's across the street. He's developed many units over there, but every unit he did purchase a transformer. So my purpose of my conversation was to see if maybe I could connect through one of his transformers. What I did find out was that he did give permission for a brand new house that was built behind his development to use his property to run electrical line to the street to connect a new account for this house without a transformer. So I now knew that I could connect my building to the street without a transformer. So that piece of information was very solid for me, because it now told me kind of what I was dealing with. Because at that point I had been made to believe that the only way I could be connected would be through a transformer. And I now knew that that wasn't true. What I realized through my conversation with him is that they were literally, in his words, putting me in the big leagues. Meaning, because I, wanted 4 accounts, 2 apartments, and 2 stores, they were treating me like I was a 100-unit apartment building and needed to transform the power for that, which of course I don't. So, and there was no sort of getting them to understand, no, I'm not this massive commercial entity, and I just, need an account hook, or well, at the time, 2 accounts. I was going to do 1 and 1. So anyway, again, I mean, it was a matter of going back and forth and back and forth, and just getting support from other people, and having literally other people go in there and ask them what's going on, and what is this resolution. And finally armed with this information that this other guy had connected the account, and that the developer felt that they were putting me in the big leagues, I just went for a final appointment there, and I said, look, just give me 1 account, just connect the whole building as if it's a house. I will worry about dividing up the 4 accounts and dividing up the electrical bill, because I can do that with little meters on each individual panel. So he's like, oh, I don't know if we can do that, blah, blah, blah. Because honestly, see, the other thing with these transformers I found out is when you purchase a transformer and it gets put in a public access area along the road, within 24 hours, it literally becomes public property. So now the electrical company has the ability to connect into it, which is, I'm sure the reason why they wanted me to help them build their infrastructure. So sort of, I just had to keep asking questions, you guys. And if it doesn't make sense, just keep asking questions. That's the lesson that I'm teaching on this video. So at the end of the day, we connected 1 account. I'm going to track the rentals separately, and I'm going to either include rent within the monthly rental fee that I'm charging, or I can account for it separately and charge it separately. And at the end of the day, it costs me nothing. They connected at the street, and I've had to, I shouldn't say anything, because I've had to get the electrician to connect from the pole to the building, which is a 4-foot span. So far in materials, it's cost me 3,000 pesos, which is about $60. And I'll probably end up paying him another 3,000 pesos in labor. So at the end of the day, it'll be a $120 connection. But it wasn't until I had, so I've gone from a $10,000 bill to $120, but that was because I dug my heels in. So that's my lesson, and that's really what I wanted to share with you guys. So now, moving on, now that I've got power to that building, you guys, I am ready to start. And what I mean is I am now going to build a business over there. And it's a business that I'm going to build and then eventually sell. So I will maintain being a landlord. Whoever buys that business, if they want to keep it in that space, then they'll just pay me rent. But that's my next video series, will be on opening and building a business here in the Dominican Republic. So keep your eyes out for that. But for now, I'm going to close this series on building in the Dominican Republic, since I'm done and moved in. And hopefully we'll see you guys in the next series. Have a great day.